this is a safe space. Like,
Hmm.
we're here to, if you want constructive criticism, you can ask for it. But we're not here to tear each other down. We're all unique and special in our own ways. And I love all the artists in the group that we've met. I want more artists to come out of the
Sure.
out of the little holes that they've dug themselves in, because it is important to show what you can do
Yes.
and be a part of it.
Good evening and welcome to Art After Dark, where you get to learn all about arts and culture in West Texas, and I get to live out my Dick Cavett fantasy. Good evening. My name is Randy Ham. I'm the executive director for Odessa Arts, and today I am here with two artists from the Creatives of West Texas, Gina Bernal and Melody Herrera. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Evening.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. Um, I guess I want to start with asking each of you to talk about your artistic journey. Like, when did you start doing art, and what brought you to this place today? So we'll start with
Okay.
Gina.
Okay. I've always been artsy, I guess you could say, from a young age, since I won my first coloring contest at Albertsons. I've always, liked doing anything really, crafts, that kind of thing. But it wasn't until probably about high school is when I really started to get serious about it. And so I went on to OC, got my associates in art.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I've been on and off the art scene, pretty much the rest of my life, really. And it wasn't, something that I was comfortable with, because I am a kind of an introvert. But I wanted to push myself and get out there more, and that's kind of why I created the group also.
Sure.
um
Well, for a lot of artists, the way that you interact with other people is through your work, and not necessarily. Uh, a lot of artists are very introverted, and
yeah.
you express your feelings and your thoughts through your work. What is the medium that you like to work with the most?
I've done oils, but I really have just gotten into acrylics, because I'm not the most patient person to wait for the oil to dry and do layers and stuff. So yeah, my go-to is acrylics all the way. And just anything crafty, I still do. Like, I get excited whenever my kids come home with like like a school project or something. I'm like, yes, we can and they're just like so happy they have a crafty mom. It's like it's what it's all about, really, is just creating something out of nothing, and
Right.
you
Yeah.
know having fun.
Right.
Really.
Well, Melody, when did you start with your art?
I was about 4, where I can remember. My mom didn't really know that I had a knack for it. My art teacher and my teachers at school did, but my mom didn't really know. Uh, and I would take the back pages from books at home,
Yeah.
the blank sheets. I would
Yes.
take those and start drawing in those. I was like,
Are you telling me that you drew in books?
all the time.
Uh, okay.
Oh,
This librarian is having a little mini stroke right here, but I'll be okay. Uh,
Yeah, which is why I think it's so important to, like, give kids sketchbooks and stuff like that.
yeah.
My
sure.
kids have so many, because 'cause I'm like, "You're not doing that."
Art supplies are so important, right? Yes.
Yeah, my mom, she started noticing that, and she was just like, "What are you doing?" And just like, "I don't know I don't have any paper," and, started there. Um, Lived here my whole life, went to a junior high, graduated from Permian, went to OC, just always had great teachers who were, like, always encouraging art on me and putting it on me, um, pretty much my whole life, really. Uh, After becoming a mom, kinda took a break from that, and then, started face painting. That was really fun, but it wasn't what I love to do, which is painting and
Sure.
sculpting and things like that. But once I found more time for it, uh, went back at it, and especially with Gina, like her group and things like that, it really encouraged me to like get back out there and do more and things like that. And so,
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Creatives of West Texas because that's a fairly new kind of artist co-op that you put together just in the last few months. It's been less than a year, is that right?
Yes, it's been less than a year.
So, how did that come about?
Um, well, like Melody, um, I am a mom of 4 kids. So, you know, I I can't speak for all moms, but for me personally, I kind of lost myself in, the kids and my, the family life. It
Sure.
was all about the kids and,
Hmm.
my husband. And so I found like I didn't, it wasn't working for me. I didn't do things that I really liked,
Hmm.
separate from being a mom. I didn't want that to be my only definition of myself. So because I did, get my art degree, that's what I am passionate about. So it took me a while actually to actually start the group. I've been wanting to do it for the last couple of years, but I was like, there's never a right time,
Right.
so I just went ahead and did it, and I've gotten so much positive feedback from the artists, and it's just amazing how many local artists we have.
Yes.
And I'm like most are introverted, but I feel like creating this group, um, it's kind of bringing the artists out a little bit more, making them comfortable in the
Sure.
community,
Well,
and
and you don't
that's
feel like you're alone doing it. So you have a group, a support group,
yes,
and it's so important to have not just groups of artists, but artists that want to see other artists succeed,
yes,
right?
for
hmm
sure.
So I'm sure that's been quite rewarding.
Yes, I think it's definitely the community needs to know their local artists,
Hmm.
but also the artists, need to feel that support of the community as well,
Sure.
because some artists don't get that support at home or, with their
Hmm.
friends or anything like that. So, uh, I wanted to create this group where we can all support each other, give feedback, just post about opportunities coming up, that kind of thing. And it's been awesome. I've gotten so many messages like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for starting this group." It's gotten me, out there, and that's what it's all about really. It's just the community getting to know the local artists, and then the artists getting out in the community more.
Sure. And it actually dovetails very nicely into a running theme we've had with this show is that if you think that there's a need for an artist community, the most people probably think the same thing. There are others that have that same idea, and everybody's afraid to take that first step. So it just takes one person to say, "I have this idea.
hmm
Hmm.
Let's just get together," and then people follow suit, and everybody is so happy to be a part of something. Um, but it does take a little bit of leadership and a little bit of initiative and a little bit of bravery to be able to
Right.
do that. So,
For
hats
sure.
off to you for doing that. Melody, what has it been like working with Gina and working with the creatives?
The best. She's so cool. It's always like exciting to hear, oh, we have another pop up, and here's the theme. I love the fact that she incorporates themes into these shows. It kind of gives everybody a direction,
Yeah,
and it keeps everybody on their toes. The black and white show was a huge challenge. Everybody was out of their element with that one. Um, because I, on the other hand, I stick to strictly Technicolor when it comes to my work. It
right.
is just
Yeah.
an explosion of color. And so she's like, black and white. Just like,
We're gonna take that color away from you, and good luck.
oh God.
Yeah. And personally, I'm like, oh, that would be so cool to have a black and white. And then when I'm getting down to it, I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't
Right.
know.
It's
I
it's
challenge
great in the
myself also.
abstract, but then when you start trying to put
Yeah.
pen to paper, yeah,
Oh
it's a
my
little
goodness.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely a challenge. And I do want to push artists to to do things they're not comfortable with, because I mean, the best things come out of that. I
Yes.
feel like she did really, really awesome pieces. And I mean, all the artists did really, really good. And we've had 2 pop-ups so far, with different themes, and we're having more. So I'm excited about what's to come with this group. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, I've
The
seen a lot of the work that that has gone into these pop-ups and into the work that these artists have done, and it has been just amazing. But really, the thing that I enjoy the most is how much happiness and joy that I feel just walking into that space. Every artist is supporting one another, and they're
mm,
so proud of their work, but they're also proud of everybody else's work,
mm,
and it really is kind of this communal event, and that's just not always the case. So again, it takes really good leadership to foster that and to make sure that the people that come into this feel accepted and safe and have a space to express themselves without the fear of harsh criticism.
Right.
right.
And
Yeah.
I feel like some artists, they're afraid to get out there
Sure.
because of that. And I always say in the group, this is a safe space. Like,
Hmm.
we're here to, if you want constructive criticism, you can ask for it. But, if you want opinions, that kind of thing. But we're not here to tear each other down, or um, like a competition of who's the best.
Hmm.
We're all unique and special in our own ways. And I love all the artists in the group that we've met. Um, they're just so awesome. Like, I can't get enough of talking about all the artists here in Odessa and Midland. And I want more artists to come out of the
Sure.
out of the little holes that they've dug themselves in, because it is important in this community to show what you can do
Yes.
and be a part of it. So,
Right. Well,
mhm.
artists live here too. We
Mhm.
pay rent. We have mortgages. We have children we're sending to school. All of those things. And so we contribute to the economy and we contribute to the betterment of the community. We give those explosions of color
Mhm.
that you can't find anywhere else. Um, yeah, Melody, of all of the pieces that you've done, do you have a favorite? Do you have something that you're most proud of?
Oh man. It depends on which medium. I've dabbled with some digital work for the
Hmm.
city. I have an electrical box off of Texas and
Oh,
Yes, you
8th
cool.
do.
Street. That was really, really fun. I stepped out of my comfort zone with that one too. I am not a digital artist whatsoever. But once I got the groove of it, I was just like, oh, I love it. But that piece really stands out to me because it's my grandpa. He
Yeah.
was a mariachi, and I decided to honor him with the Day of the Dead sort of theme, and so that one really sticks out to me. I always drive by, and we always honk when we see it, and the kids are like, "That's fun." It's
Yeah.
really cool. Uh, I've done a couple murals for Odessa too. One for a restaurant by OHS.
Hmm.
That was really fun, and one for the Neon Tiger off of
Oh
West
yeah, Neon
County.
Tiger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So yeah, that was really fun too.
Yeah.
Because again, murals are not my forte. I just like to push myself apparently. I don't know. Gina just brought it out of me too. Because with the black and
Right.
white thing, I was just like, I think I can do this. I think I can
Yeah,
do
and
this, you know?
I knew she could do it. It's just, convincing herself.
It's always the scary
Yeah.
pieces that stand out. They end up being the ones that I love the most, you know? It's,
Sure.
yeah. So
Because
really,
mentally, you know what you had to do to get yourself to that
Yeah.
place.
yeah.
So that's really awesome. Gina, do you have anything specific that you've worked on that you're just like, "God, I am so proud of this work."
I mean, I've done like I said, I've done so many. I did a anti-bullying
Hmm.
piece back in, oh gosh, I think it was like 2017.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Was that for the
and
crisis
it was
center?
in Midland.
Oh yeah.
So that was like the most, I feel like the most special to me.
Hmm.
They had reached out to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was
Yeah.
thought I, it was was really special, and I as like I did get bullied, so it really touched me, and I put all I had into it, and it was amazing. We went to the event and met so many people.
Yeah.
It was really good. I liked it there. And I mean, I've done, things here and there, but I mean, I can't say that I have one favorite.
Mm.
I, you
It's
know,
like
I
picking a favorite child,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
You're all the same.
Yeah.
Yes. It just I put everything I have into what I'm doing, and yeah, I look at each piece differently, and depending on how I feel and what we're going through, and it is a therapy too. So
It is absolutely therapeutic.
it
It's
is.
therapeutic for the artist, and then it's also therapeutic for the people, observing it, seeing your piece of art. You know, a very famous speaker once was talking to a room full of artists, and she said, we don't we don't do brain surgery. We don't save lives that way. What we do is that brain surgeon who may have had an unsuccessful operation that day and maybe lost a patient,
Mm.
and maybe at the end of that day they went to a museum and they saw a piece of art, or they went to an opera, or they went to a performance, or they just put on their favorite music just to kind of pull them out of that. And so, for artists, that's how art saves lives. Artists give us another means of coping, of
Mhm.
grieving, and hopefully of healing as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
We
sure.
were just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
How much art has impacted our life, got us through so much, mentally, and it is a therapy, and I just wish more people would try it, give it a try.
Sure.
um and I feel like it would solve, not solve, but like help so many people. um
You see it in the group a lot.
yeah.
You see a lot
Mhm.
of people coming out of their shell
Hmm.
and really like putting their, vulnerable parts out, saying,
Yes.
"This looks really bad, I think.
Yes.
Can y'all help me feel
Yeah.
Right.
better?" And yeah,
Well, and also you don't have to be good at it
exactly.
to do
Exactly.
it, right?
Mhm.
I started piano lessons when I was 45 years old.
Mhm.
I'm never going to play Carnegie Hall.
Mm.
But that's not the point. The point is I can sit down at the piano when I'm feeling sad, or when I'm feeling happy, or just when
Mhm.
I want to create some music and
Mhm.
sit down there and play. And it's incredibly healing, and
Mhm.
it gives you, no matter what you're going through, I think at the end of your session with art, you should feel just a little bit of optimism. Like
Oh yeah.
the world's going to be a little bit better. Tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. um I do want to kind of touch on that. Speaking of
Yeah.
mentally, we're doing a out of the darkness
Yes.
walk, and I'm really excited about it. We're The Creatives of West Texas is forming a team. So if anybody wants to join us, um, just go to our Facebook page, and you can join that way. But I personally have struggled, you know, with my mental health, and I know it is controversial, especially like in a conservative community, but I do think that it is important, um, to talk about it, and to realize that it is a problem.
Yes.
It's one of the leading causes of death, and if we can, help somebody, just one person, it makes a world of difference. And so we're doing the walk. Um, we're gonna have our local artists design T-shirts,
Oh, good.
so we can try to help fundraise for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an artist and you would like to design a shirt, let me know. Um, but that's going to be going on, and yeah, we're just going to be out there, volunteering, helping wherever we can. and then doing the walk as well. So you can walk for somebody, for yourself if you've struggled with with that kind of thing. And it's not talked about on the news. It's not reported. But there has been so many. I feel like if you're not impacted directly by it or
Right.
yourself, you don't know, and you don't. I guess you don't want to
It makes
explore that.
right. It makes people uncomfortable,
Yes,
right?
for sure.
It's a delicate subject.
Yeah.
Bullying is a delicate subject. Suicide is a very delicate subject. But uh, you can use art to be able to maybe start that conversation,
Mhm.
Yes.
and make it easier for people to maybe open up about things. There was we did an exhibit a few years ago called Basin 52, and it was 52 pieces of art by 52 artists, and then we put it into a card deck. And one of the artists there, she did this drawing and submitted it, and it was actually a drawing of a photograph she found in her son's room after he had committed suicide,
Mm.
and that was her
Gosh.
therapy,
Yes.
right? And because of not only being able to talk about or exhibit it in this, it is now in a card deck around the world. So her son, even if you don't know his name, he will never be forgotten because he's been immortalized
Yeah.
that way.
That's
So
special.
you know uh, I applaud you for using your platform to be able to talk about some of the things, or at least bring attention to them. um, so you've done pop-ups.
Yes. Mhm.
What's next for the creatives of West Texas?
Well, we have the walk coming up October 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are doing a November 1st pop up
Mm-hmm.
at Homemade Wines.
Okay.
I'm excited about that.
Me
Yeah.
too.
It's Day of the Dead Sugar Skull theme.
Oh, yeah, because that's
So,
First Friday too,
yes.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're all the artists are excited about that. And I can afford to include more artists in this because we do
Yeah.
have a
A
bigger
bigger
space.
space. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, um, yeah, if you want to join, we still have some openings. So if you want to join, let me know and we can get you in. But yes, we're excited about that as well. I do want to do kind of like, I mean, I have so many plans for this group, Brandy. We can be here all day. But just mainly just, pop-ups around town.
Sure.
I do want to do like meetups, artist meetups.
Yeah.
We can get together, just like draw, just do anything creative really, and just get to know each other,
Mm-hmm.
and have that support for it. We know that we're supported, you know. And like I said, a lot of people don't have that, and I think it's important to know that we're here and we support you.
If you had someone from the public come to you that had never heard of Creatives of West Texas, and they just, what's your elevator pitch? What is Creatives of West Texas? Tell me.
It's a safe space for creatives to come together and just support each other to um, share opportunities with each other and just basically get to know um, other artists in their community. And yeah, it's just so much so much to me. It means so much more than that, but to sum it up, that's basically what I would say.
All right, you've talked about pop-ups and things you're going to do in the next month or so.
Mhm.
That's really great. Where do you see the group in 5 years?
Oh my gosh.
In your land of rainbows and candy and unicorns, and you could just, the sky's the limit.
Uh-huh.
What do you want to do?
I really want to have some kind of gallery studio. And I know we've talked about that before, and I did have a gallery, uh, a studio gallery, um, back in 2015 that I
Mm-hmm.
had opened up, but I just couldn't get it going by myself,
Sure.
and it was just I was basically working to just pay the rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I had 2 kids at the time, so it was just not something I could do by myself. But, I definitely think that it's needed, um, just to
Yeah.
show the community what what artists can do, and to have your art on a wall, it just means so much as an artist. And I personally have a tiny space, but
Mm-hmm.
um some people don't.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
students don't, that they can just go home and work on their
Yeah.
stuff. And I think it is, it's gonna in the future,
It'll
I feel
happen.
like
It will
it will
absolutely happen.
happen, and I'm putting it out there into existence.
Yes, let's throw it out there
Yeah.
to the world. There's going to be an artist space in Odessa in the next 10 years. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, um, Melody, what do you want to see in the next 5 years?
I want to see more art in Odessa.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a ton of it. It's been so exciting to see all the
Yeah.
murals popping up, all the
Yeah.
electric boxes being covered in color. A lot of businesses are being inspired to have murals on their walls too,
Yes.
and
Oh,
just seeing like that stimulation in the economy too. It's
mhm.
just like it's so
Yeah.
exciting because you're like, there's a future for us. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
space for us. There's a place for us to, have our shop.
Yes.
For our art to be on that building, and I want to see just more art. I want to see more people less afraid of attempting to make art.
Sure.
I want to see, maybe more programs for the youth too, like
Yeah.
things like that, so they don't have to tear out the pages of the library books.
Yes, so that they do not tear pages out of library books. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
If you take nothing else away from this podcast today, kids, don't tear the pages out of library books.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for being here. Your enthusiasm for this has been infectious. I'm so excited about the creatives of West Texas. I hope that we can have you back on here again so you can talk about many, many more successes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you all very much for tuning in tonight, and cheers, ladies.